Hey guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to another video, and it's another chapter working on this guy right here. It's not another stream, this is not live. We're going straight to YouTube with this one. Yeah, anyway, run the intro, let's get started. Okay. Well guys, we're back and we're continuing on the build, and so we've got all of our colors done, and it's time to work on our engines. Okay, as you can see, I've already got this masked off and I sprayed down some silver. Silver's going to be the base. There's some little spots on there. I've got a bunch of masking to do on this because well, in similar fashion to the Su-57, these engines, they get a lot of discoloration on them, and it's a very specific kind of pattern that these things get discolored in. And yeah, so there's a lot of work. I also did a little bit of silver on their nozzles. First I did the black base on these, and then I did the silver. On these, I did not do a black base. I just left the gray primer, and that's why these are much darker looking, right? But there's a reason behind that, because these tend to be a lot darker than this section. So how am I going to make these things really pop, and how is it going to look? Well, first of all, with our nozzles, the insides of them need to be painted white. So I'm going to use the insignia white, and I'm going to paint the insides of them white. Okay. Then on the outsides, we're going to use some AK Extreme metal colors. Okay, I've used these in the past. I also have discovered that once you've sprayed them and you've got your color down, you need to put a clear coat over them. Even if you let them cure for a day, you put masking tape over top of them, when you go to lift that masking tape, the color comes right with it. I found that out the hard way, obviously. So I need to basically spray them down, do one layer, then clear coat, and then I can mask and do stuff like that, right? So what are we going to use? AK Extreme, we're going to do some jet exhaust. I put a little color on the lid there. Jet exhaust on that. We're going to use some metallic blue. That's this one here. We're going to use metallic purple. A little bit of purple on there. And we're going to use some burnt metal. And that's that color there. I also have copper. I might utilize some copper in there too. But these are my basic 4 colors I'm going to be using. We're going to be doing this off camera. I will come back, show you the results, and kind of as we go along in different stages, okay? Which is why I'm not doing this live, right? Because that's just going to be a bit of a pain. So, yeah, we will come back a little bit later when we've got some color laid down on this thing, all right? We'll see you in a little bit.
Day 4.
It's been about a week, and I've done a lot of stuff. Last time you guys saw me just getting started painting on the engines. Well, I finished the engine, and I actually got all the decals put on too, everywhere on this little bird of ours. All the decals, everything. Engines are done. You can see them in the small window. I'll change the camera, you can see a little closer up. The finished product of what this looks like now. There's our engines. Okay, as you can see, I did a whole bunch of masking on there and got those all those little stripes, all the different colors of the blue and purple on the engine, on the end there. Flip her over. Similar thing going on the bottom. Yeah, fun stuff, fun stuff. That's the product of a lot of masking, and yeah, a lot of masking, a lot of clear coats in between the colors. Because that AK Extreme metal, you lay it down, okay, you let it dry sure, and you mask over it, and you pull that masking tape off, and paint comes right with it. So I had to lay down a coat, then clear coat once it's dry, and then I can mask on the clear, and then lay down another color, mask that, or not mask, but lay down another color, and then clear coat over that, and then mask, and it was a process. Color, clear, mask, color, clear, mask, color, clear, mask. Did it about 4 or 5 times before I finally got this all done. Then decided it's time to get the decals on this thing. That took about, 4 or 5 hours roughly over the course of 4 days. And so I got all the decals put on. And then just about maybe an hour ago, I got a clear coat sealing in all the decals. So we're ready for almost final assembly of the parts. Okay, as you can see here over on the side, that's a little bit of a challenge when you don't have it all assembled. Same with the canopy. The canopy frame has to match this color, and if you don't kind of do the same process, it just doesn't look the same. So if you laid down a black base and then an airplane took off, and after your black base you laid down some color, and then after the color you put a clear coat over it, and so you've got those layers of paint, and that's how these come out with this color. If you don't do that same process with the canopy frame, it's just not going to match, right? So I didn't do a black base, so I don't have to worry about that. I used a gray primer, so I did that on the canopy, then I laid down the color, and now I did a clear. And that's what I've done. I just finished putting clear on my canopy. Okay, and so let's change the camera. This should, in theory, look very close to the color. We got that on there, and we've got similar shine, similar color, everything. It's very close, very, very close. So it looks good. I'm happy with that. But we are going to continue with some assembly on this, which means we need to backtrack in the book a little bit. Okay, because we went all the way to the very end, our final page. We went all the way to the end. We're basically here doing our weapons and stuff like that and putting those on. So I have missiles. These were fun to paint too, because I had to paint the copper. First I had to do the silver. Silver was first, then I masked that off. I paint the copper, then I masked that off. I did this gunmetal in there. This is gunmetal, and then I masked that off, and I did a German gray on the tip, and I dropped my tweezers, and then I did the metallic blue in the middle there, and I did the gunmetal on these parts, and yeah, nice colorful Russian missiles. Then I did a little bit of some panel liner in there, did a little bit of a dirty it up a little bit to make some of the detail pop, and then of course decals. And then of course over the decals we do a clear coat, sealing it all done. These guys were just plain white, and so we just put our decals on there. Of course painted these little fins silver like they're supposed to be. And that's it for these. Those missiles, not too much to do on them. But we're ready to kind of start installing some stuff. We're going to start with our canopy. And our airplane taking off yet again. They are extra loud today. It seems like we've got a little bit of a cloud cover. Speaking of canopy, we have two different options here. Depending if you're having option 2, which is the canopy open, okay, then you're going to use this piece, E14. But we're not doing that. We're doing option 1. Okay, 14A. I don't know why they're referencing 14A, because there's nothing. I guess this is 14A here. 14A. It's a little bit. This is option 2. So we want this piece for option 2. What? We got 14A, 14A. What are you guys talking about? 14A. Let's go back. We have 14A. Why are you referring to 14A and 14A? I guess, I don't know which one we're doing here. Option 1, we want the canopy closed. So that's option 1. So this one is if you're doing option 2. This is option 1. I guess. Well, let's grab E14. Let's see that part. Let's take a look at that part. E14. Is this the E tree? That's F. This is E. We want 14. Where are we here? 14. That's 11, 13, 14, right here. Alright, let's get this off the sprue. E14. Okay. Now, let's grab our canopy here. This is dry. I did this about 20 minutes ago, so that's plenty dry. To me, a clear coat. Okay. And I'll just take that out because this is supposed to, in theory, go down in here. I feel like it's not quite 100% dry, so I am going to put this back on so I can hold it. This would be going in right in there, like so. Just like that. Now if that's the case, can I put that thing closed in that position? Let's do a little test. I am going to get some blue tack. Get some blue tack out. This stuff here. And I'll get myself a little piece. A little piece of blue tack. Just so that it holds. Yeah, you can go on the floor if you feel like it. Okay. There we go. And that'll hold it in place while I try and figure out if this is actually going to work. This is supposed to go on there, and with it doing that, that won't let it close. So that tells me that's not the correct part if I want to have it open, if I want to have it closed. This is fine if you want to have it open, but I don't want it open. We're closing her up. So this piece goes bye-bye. And so does my blue tack. Okay. So through process of elimination, we have determined which parts to use. I mean, technically this thing's going to be closed. You're not even going to see these pieces, right? This is going to be closed up, so you're not even going to see those. So why am I even worrying about it? This just needs to go like this and be done. But you might be able to see once I got the masking tape off of there, you might be able to see the detail in back there. So I do kind of want to have it. Of course, I think my client is going to be hanging this from ceiling. Unless he's going to have it upside down, I don't think he's going to see it either. So we want E45 and F32. So E45, let's find that piece. 45, where are you? Right here. E45. E45 is this guy. And then we want F, what was it, 32? F32. There's F32. F32 off of the sprue. Now we have to get rid of this little interior thing. There we go. Okay. So, how do these go? Looks like these two pieces actually go together. Like this. And like this. just like that. But I need to clean up my nubs a little bit here. Let's put this here for now. And find my little file. And clean these up. I don't know if you guys can hear him, the neighbor using his weed whacker out in the back. The sounds of summer, that's for sure. That's what that is. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Yes. Okay. So, this guy goes with this guy. I'm going to put a little drop of glue. Move my missile out of the way. I'm going to put a little drop of glue on where it contacts in there. Right there and right there. And then I'm going to kind of drop him in place. Just kind of like this. That's not exactly how it's supposed to go. And that's actually the wrong side. It's supposed to go on this side. So let's clean up my glue. Try this again. This goes right here and right here. Just like that. Okay, now that's going to be a little bit hard for you guys to see on the camera, but this is kind of how he goes. This, you can see he's not quite touching all the way around, just touches on those 2 points. Okay, and that's how that goes together there. And then this is supposed to go in, lining it up along this little line right in there. If I get that in the right angle, you might be able to see right in there. Okay, not in this square block, not in there, but up front here. And our little handle thing should be facing forward. So, similar fashion. Kind of a little bit of a channel right there. And get this held on in the right spot. That. And then kind of drop them in. The way it sits in here, these should be flush. So you just got to get it, once you get it in the right spot, it'll be flush. But that is the trick, is getting it in the right spot. Of course, doing that is not ideal. Doesn't seem to be contoured properly. So what is going on here? It doesn't seem to be fitting at all. fit at all. Getting glue on my tweezers doesn't help. This piece is being such a pain to me, it's not really worth putting in. Done with this part. I tell you what, I'm almost done with you not wanting to sit in your home at the right angle at all. Get it right in there and it just doesn't want to. As soon as I rotate it to fit, it wants to just pull right out of its spot. It's basically like this. Let's put a piece of glue back there. We're going to hold it right where it is. I got a little too much glue, so I'm just going to kind of do this. Thin it out a little bit. That's junk now. And we're just going to hold it like that. Now that I've struggled with this thing enough, unfortunately, they don't tell me what color this thing is supposed to be. So that's basically it, except it's too proud. It needs to be... Okay, I give up. I give up, guys. I'm done. Bye. It's not worth it. Juice isn't worth the squeeze. We're gonna move on. We're not doing that. We're going to put the front part of the canopy on, which means we've got to back up. We're backing up to this stage, right here, okay? Let's put this away. Backing up to that stage means we're going to have to remove some of my masking tape here off of our pilot. As you guys know, I have the pilot painted, and he's already sitting in there waiting for approval to fly. So we're going to remove our tape and reveal our pilot. all kinds of little pieces of masking tape I put in here to cover up the instrumentation. Go. We're getting there. I think that's it. I think I got one more piece that's down in here. There we go. Okay, masking tape's removed, revealing our pilot. Okay, so with that done, we got to grab off of our D tree. Now our D is a clear sprue, this guy here. So we want number 5 and number 6. Okay, number 5 and number 6. And number 5 and 6. This guy and this guy. So number 5. That guy there. Number 6. This guy here. Let's put those off for the side for now. Number 6 is the bigger piece. You could say number 6 is the square piece, number 5 is the rectangle. Okay. So how do these guys go? These guys kind of go together and make a bit of a pyramid. They kind of make a pyramid like this together. I did see a little notch. Looked like how it's supposed to go together. At least I thought I saw a notch. It's a very subtle notch, let's see that. Kind of like this. They just go together like that. So what I'm going to try to do is put this one on first. This guy goes down. They both kind of go right in this little spot here. Now that's off camera. They go right in this little spot here and make a kind of a pyramid. Glue on the bottom of that, and then it kind of goes there, kind of like that. This guy, in similar fashion, going to go there and make a bit of a pyramid. It's going to go right here. And they need to touch. So that's how we're going to do it, and I'm going to use a little extra thin on the top of them. And of course you fell over when the thing dropped. I'm going to use my finger to hold it up for a sec. I put a little drop of extra thin on. There we go. And we're going to use gravity to my advantage and hold that up and show that just like that. Okay, just like that. You can see the angle that it's at, kind of facing forward a little bit. And we're supposed to put F33 on top of it. Really? I don't know how we're supposed to do that. That's ridiculous. We're going to grab our front canopy and we're going to put that on. And install the front of our canopy here. We have our front canopy here. And he's going to go just like this. Right in his spot, just like that. Fits nice. Okay. It is nice that we have a frame around the canopy and it's not going to be just straight glue onto the glass, onto the clear part. It's always a bit challenging when you have to glue an unframed canopy. For the front, I'm going to put glue right here. Wicked down into the crack. That's perfect. There we go. So our front canopy is in. I'm just going to press down a little bit. Got a little bit of glue coming out the side here. I don't like that, so I'm going to take a Q-tip and just kind of dab in those spots a little bit. There we go. And we're good. Alright. Front canopy's on. Next, rear. Okay. Now we got this other one. We got D3 is supposed to go back here, and they're calling for it to be silver. D3, this guy here, it's a little bulb. They want it silver. But we're going to paint this after. Okay. D3 goes right behind our little white dot. Right there. Okay. It's supposed to be silver, but I think it's worth leaving. There before the glue sets. There we go. So that's on. Now we can do our rear canopy. Now, as I discovered with my own version of this, the canopy doesn't sit perfect. It's not quite perfect. I could try and rectify that. I'm gonna give it a shot. So how would I do that? See, what I notice is the angle of this isn't perfect. So if I could just kind of file this so that this is a little bit more of that direction, that might help it out. So I'm going to try and just take a little bit off the top here. See if this helps. This is probably something I should have done before painting the color on it. You know, that probably would have been a better thing to do, but we'll see. So with that filed a little bit there, let's do a little test fit. I mean, it still sticks back a little bit further, but it does match the curve. It matches our seal a little bit better for sure. I would like to just push it forward just a little bit, but then it won't match the contour of the actual plate. What I can try, thinning this out a little bit here, back here. And maybe it'll sit down. It's just, it seems to be sitting proud. So if I can file this down and thin that out to more of a point, maybe she'll sit down. After all, this isn't going to be a piece, this isn't going to be a spot that you can see, so we can just get that in there. Let's see. I have to say it's not really any better. No matter what I do, it's going to be sitting proud at the top there. So I'm just going to have to say this is it, the way it is. Okay, she's on. Okay, canopy's installed. Okay, now like I said, I'll show you guys here where to throw my glasses. The back end is just sitting a little bit proud. See how it sticks up just that little bit? That's the part I don't like. But unfortunately it's lined up everywhere else. Everywhere else on here it's a nice perfect fit. Right? but it's not. It's just at the back there. We're sticking up. Right? Sticks up at the back a little bit. There's not really anything I can do. So that's the way we have it. Now it's not something that's really going to be noticeable. You'd really have to be looking for it, I think. Okay, so with that done, we can move back to our engines. Yeah, woohoo, our engines. So, woohoo, we've got these. These are going to go in here like this. Now you have to pay attention to these little grooves. You got these little grooves on the inside here. That's our lining up points, okay? Because you need to push these. These need to go in far enough that this edge is flush with this. If you just leave it sticking out like that, what's going to happen is you're going to go to put your nozzle on and you're going to have a big gap like this. And you don't want that gap. See that gap? You don't want that. You don't want that gap, okay? That's got to be shoved in flush, okay? And it's a tight fit, but it'll go. You put some glue on there, she'll slide in there. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put some glue around this edge. Go all the way around the edge. Okay. A little more. There we go. That's going to help us to slide that in there. And with that glue, she should slide in and be flush. It might be a tight fit, but it should go flush. And she's not. So what's going to happen is I am going to have to file this down, because that's going to be a gap sticking out there. That's going to be a gap there, and that's no good. We can't have that gap. This should go flush right up against, flat, right up against there like this, and not have this gap. Okay? That tells me I got to do some work on this. Okay? But that's okay. We'll file this down and we'll get this flush later. In the meantime, we'll do that with this one. Okay, this guy in there, get him in there, and I'm getting glue on my fingers. I don't want that. Okay, so he's flush at the bottom, but where that rib is, it's not flush. So he's flush at the bottom. This is good. Okay, that's perfect. But the top isn't. So these guys need work. Okay, these guys are going to need some work, but that's okay. That's not too bad. Now you might say, oh yeah, that's the thrust vectoring, but unfortunately the thrust vectoring starts at that silver line. This is where the thrust vectoring thing is, right there, not back here. Okay, so yeah, we can't have that gap. It should be flush like it is on the back here. Okay, that's how it should be. Which means we got work to do, I got filing to do, but I'm gonna have to wait till that dries before I file it down. Okay, so what's next? What's next? You tell me what's next. Well, just make sure my little dot is centered there. That's fine. What's next is weapon pylons. We can put our weapon pylons on. Okay. Now I don't want to put this right on the canopy right just now, so I'm just going to get a thing of paint, put that down there. Weapon pylons. Our weapon pylons, because I don't like to put the pylons and the weapons on at the same time, because that makes it difficult to line up. We've got our big ones for these guys, okay, and then we've got our smaller ones for those missiles. So let's find our pylons. They're buried underneath here. Right there. Now these should be fairly easy to figure out which ones go where, Okay, the ones with the two points, they go on the end of the wing right there. And the one with the 3 go right here. Like that. And of course your holes line up, but we don't have 3 dots. It had us do 3 holes in the wings just for doing that, lining them up, but of course we're not using the 3rd. That's a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. So this guy's going to go like that. Okay, but we need to get my plane level and flat here in such a way that I can do this. Let's get the glue out from underneath it. Get this guy lined up on here. We need wider wingspan, and right there should be good. Okay, let's grab a big one. Grab a big one. This guy here. So what I'm going to do is, to help it stay in place, put a couple of dabs of glue and then line this up just like that. Hold it for a sec. And there we go. Just make sure it's straight. And that's that one. Okay, let's grab the other one. Again, a little bit of glue under there. Line them up over here. I guess this is off camera. Sorry, guys. Once again, make sure it's straight. Okay, just like that. I'll let that sit for a minute or two, and then I'll come in with a little bit of the extra thin just in case, so it can go in any cracks or anything and get that lined up. We also have these guys. These guys are going to go right here. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. Along that line there. Line it up. There we go. Straight up and down is important. There we go. One more. Just like that. And again, sorry it's off camera. There we go. Okay, our 4 weapons pods or missile pods are all on. So we're going to let this dry. We're going to let this cure, and that's where we're going to end this one. We're almost done. Next is going to be weathering. Yeah, woohoo! We're almost done. We're going to make this bird a little bit dirty because these things get dirty, right? They always do. They're never pristine. They're never brand new, sparkly clean when you see them. Yeah, maybe when they're first built, but that's not what we're doing. This bird is flying, and so she's seen some action. She's got missiles on her. She's got fully loaded. She's ready to rock, right? Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank you for the new subscribers. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Thanks for the comments. I love seeing your comments. I love reading them. And you guys know that I like to respond to them too. I do respond to comments. So check out the links down below. You'll see my Instagram, Twitch, X channel. Yeah, check those out if you feel like it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, guys, and hit that like button too. And we'll see you all in the next one.